Hey everyone, I'm here with another PvP video. This time we're going to be talking about Nightmare Cup. This video specifically won't go too much into strategy for Nightmare Cup. I just want to highlight it because it is probably the most epic cup set I've ever had. I'm just going to be covering one of the rounds in one of my recent Nightmare Cups. It's against my opponent Azulus, and out of best of 3, we went to 5 games. And that is because we tied 2 games out of the 5, and so we had to go into tiebreakers 2 times. So looking at the lineups real quick, I'm bringing in Toxicroak, Poliwrath, Drapion, Alolan Raticate, Xatu, and Claydol. So 2 Fightings, 2 Darks, 2 Psychics. And then Azulus is bringing in Xatu, Drapion, Alolan Muck, Alolan Raichu, Toxicroak, and Spiritomb. So that is 1 Fighting, 3 Darks, and 2 Psychics. I did not screen record this just because it was this is not my 10 times weighted cup, and it's just something for me to practice my Nightmare skills before I do the 10 times weighted one, and so I just didn't think to record it. Luckily Azulus did, because had I known it was going to be this epic, I would have definitely recorded it. So all the footage is actually from Azulus's standpoint. Huge shout out to him for sending me the videos. And also, one of the matches, game 4, there was some recording issues, so we only get the second half of the match. So, getting into the match right here, he opens with Toxicroak, and I open with Claydol, so good advantage for me. And then he switches straight to Alolan Muck, and I switch into Drapion. Drapion's not necessarily the best counter for Alolan Muck, but I just want to have a more neutral matchup in this scenario. Azulus actually went in with the same exact lineup for all of his matches, so he went some combination or some order of Toxicroak, Alolan Muck, and Xatu. And then for me, I switched it up a little bit, but for the most part, I went mostly with Claydol, Drapion, and Alolan Raticate. So right here, you can see that Aqua Tail is a really good shield burner, and you could just spam down your opponents with a lot of neutral damage. So that's why I just kept using Aqua Tail in this scenario. And then I shield here just so that I have a slight advantage going into seeing what his next Pokemon is. So right here, he comes out with Toxicroak, and then there's a little bit of lag right here, actually. Actually a decent amount of lag. And so after this match concluded, I actually asked Azulus if he wanted to rematch it. And then after watching the footage, he rewatched the footage of this match, and he was like, no, like it wouldn't have made a difference in the outcome. So he just decided to forego that. But anyway, so getting some damage onto his Toxicroak, and then I bring out Claydol, and he brings down Xatu, and then I switch into Alolan Raticate, which is a good counter to Xatu, just because it's just so bulky, and it can take a lot of the hits, and then Crunch is going to do super effective damage. So yeah, you'll see that right there. And then, of course, Alolan Raticate goes down to Toxicroak really quickly. And then I think this is what he was talking about, where like even he had more health on this Toxicroak, it probably wouldn't have made much of a difference against a Claydol. And so he hits a Mud Bomb, but Claydol counters Toxicroak very hard. So that was game 1. Going to game 2, that was pretty much as like easy as it was for me moving forward. And so here's where it gets really interesting. So he gets a good lead on my Claydol, and then so I switch into Alolan Raticate, and then he switches into Toxicroak, which completely destroys Alolan Raticate. I was trying to get off a Hyper Frame before going out, but just, I can't really do too much in that scenario, being 4 times weak to fighting. So right here, I'm just waiting out the switch clock a little bit, and then I bring out Claydol. Claydol can tank pretty much any of Toxicroak's charge moves, so I just don't bother shielding that, and then I'm pretty much just going to take him out with my fast move, because Toxicroak is 4 times weak to Psychic. So I just tank some more hits, and then right here I have a little bit of energy stored, and I have a 2 shield advantage, so I'm thinking, okay, I should have this, and I believe I'm going for a Gyro Ball right here. So this game actually occurred before Earth Power was released for Claydol, so my Claydol has Earthquake. Not that Earth Power would have been useful against Xatu, but just a heads up in case you see what moves I'm using. Right here, Drapion, good way to just cut down the shields, and also still counters Xatu fairly well. It's not as bulky as Alolan Raticate or Umbreon, but that was a really good switch by Azulus right here. So Like I said, this is a decent like neutral matchup, but I'm already at a health disadvantage, so it's not the best case scenario. And right here, he used a Dark Pulse just to take out my Drapion. Or not completely, I guess, but... so right here, I'm just going to try to take out this Alolan Muck as soon as possible, just because I know I don't want to go against it with my Xatu. And so right here, I switch out, because I know my Claydol is really low, and so I don't want this Xatu to build extra energy off of it. Still gets the charge move off, and then bring in Drapion, simultaneous knockout. So that's the first tie right here. Had I not switched out that Drapion, I would have lost that right away. So looking back on it, it was probably a good call on my end. So right here, we're kind of playing the same scenario. I had a bad matchup right off with the Claydol, and then I didn't think I just thought bringing Claydol third time would work, but it clearly did not. So Alolan Raticate taking out a lot of damage just from the counters. It was actually a pretty smart move for Azulis to not shield that Hyper Fang, because he knew he was going to survive it, and this way it gives my Claydol less time to farm energy off of his Toxicroak. So a pretty smart move right there. And then right here, he's just going to hit me with Ominous Wind. I know it's not going to take out my Claydol, but I just don't want it to lose too much health at this point. And then he's going to shield his Xatu right here, and then he's going for another Ominous Wind. I do a quick switch to Drapion, which worked out pretty well, just because that would have done a lot of damage to my Claydol. So right here, again, the neutral matchup between Alolan, Muck, and Drapion. I think Drapion in this situation has a slight advantage. I don't think it's as bulky as Alolan Muck, but the Aqua Tails will hit for neutral versus Dark Pulse will hit for not very effective damage. I shielded right there because I knew that I needed to keep this Drapion alive to go against his Xatu later. Also, if I didn't shield it and he shielded my Aqua Tail like he just did following it up, that would have been really bad, because then I would probably have to face off my Claydol against his Alolan Muck. So right here, he still ends up doing quite a bit of damage on my Claydol. So yeah, so this Xatu is going to take out my Claydol. I think I actually did switch my Drapion out, just like last game. So I thought I can probably do something similar, but this time around, he had enough energy to take out my Drapion right away, so I wasn't able to get any last hits off. So game 4, prior to where this clip starts, because like I said, some of the footage wasn't captured, I opened up with Poliwrath this time, and so I switched it up a little bit just to see how it will go. So I opened with Poliwrath against Azulis' Xatu, so he won the lead off right there again. And then I switched into Claydol, and he switches into Alolan Muck. I was able to actually charge up a full Earthquake and hit Alolan Muck with that Earthquake, and then Azulis did not shield it, probably thinking it was Gyro Ball, or just it wasn't enough to take out Alolan Muck, and so that was a huge advantage I won right there. Then he came in with Xatu, which took out my Claydol. And so what you're about to see right now is the outcome of right after taking out my Claydol. Going into this, he has Xatu, and then I bring out Alolan Raticate, pretty decent counter against Xatu, so I'm not too worried here. And then I'm just going to try to hit this Xatu with crunches as much as possible. And he has a Toxicroak in the back, so and he was able to charge up quite a bit of energy, I guess, against my Claydol, which is pretty good. So he knows I have a Poliwrath in the back, so either way, it's going to be an interesting matchup, Poliwrath against Toxicroak, and I have a shield advantage too. So I make a few mistakes here. What I should have really done is gone for Ice Punches. I didn't really realize until after this match how much more useful Ice Punch is over Power Punch. I was thinking, I'll just hit for not very effective damage, but I'll get some extra attack boost on my Mud Shots. But Mud Shot just does not do that much damage. It's much better for charging energy than doing damage. It's not like Razor Leaf. Should have gone for Ice Punch right there, right? So that's what I really made a mistake on. I think I was scared of the Mud Bomb, but as you can see, I actually survived the Mud Bomb. So right here, game 4, we tie again. That was kind of my match to lose, because I could have just made some better in-game decisions right there. Again, he starts off with Xatu against my Claydol, so winning the first matchup again is huge, right? And Azulis did a really good job of calling all those. And then right here, we talked about it a little bit after, and he realized that he probably shouldn't have shielded that Aqua Tail. Might have been a misclick, I don't know. But had he not shielded that, I believe he would have won the entire set. But yeah, so Toxicroak takes out Drapion pretty well. And then I bring in Claydol. Claydol, of course, a good counter to Toxicroak. So I'm just going to stick with pretty much just neutral damage at this point. Or not neutral damage, fast attacks. And he's going to bring out Xatu right here. And I'm low on health, but I have some Gyro Balls charged up. And Gyro Balls do a decent amount of damage. And then I do a quick switch to Alolan Raticate. And I believe actually Zulus was going to hit Ominous Wind, but he actually switches to Aerial Ace in the very last second, which was actually really smart of him to do. And then so right here, I'm just going to go for Hyper Fangs against this Alolan Muck right here. This is the first time I actually really get to use my Alolan Raticate because he usually just gets taken out straight away by Toxicroak. He uses Sludge Wave, and I shield that just because I need to keep this Alolan Raticate alive, because I know that I need this against the Xatu in the end. And so right here, I believe I'm just going for Crunch just because I know I could take it out without charging a full Hyper Fang. And then I do a quick switch to Claydol right here just because I know I don't want to tank another Aerial Ace. And so I burn his energy right there. And then right here, I'm just trying to get to a Crunch, and I get there before he's able to get to Aerial Ace or Ominous Wind. And then that pretty much is a set. So that last switch where I switched out Alolan Raticate for Claydol was definitely critical because I don't think I would have won had I not done that. But at the same time too, had Azulus not shielded that Aqua Tail in that last set, he probably would have won that as well too. So really, really close games, as you can see. I mean, I believe besides the first game that I won, I think all of them were close regardless, even the ones where Azulus won or I won as well. So really, really epic, and I just thought it was just fun to share just because I've never done a cup set where I had 2 tiebreakers that I had to go through. So yeah, is this the world's first game of 5, best out of 3? I don't know. Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe for further PvP content. I will be going to GoFest in Chicago and I'll be at GoFest on the Friday, and so I'll likely do that open tournament with Rainbow Cup, and then I'll be at Worlds on Saturday too. So I have a lot of great footage for the future. I also have a Nightmare Cup coming up this upcoming Sunday, so be sure to look out for that. Feel free to subscribe for future content, and thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice one.